Okay, so today we're going to continue our lesson on Pixlr. Today we're going to learn some tools like the selection tool and some filters. So to recap, you should know how to use layers. If you don't know how to use layers, you need to go check uh, check video number 1 and find that out. You should also know about the history box so that you can go back and undo, and of course the file save and all that. And lastly, you should know a little bit about color adjustment. We learned about the desaturation tool last time. So those are some things you should know before getting started. So today, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to learn about some select and crop tools and all the properties therein. We'll learn about something called a horizon line. If you're familiar with art, you should already kind of know that. And then we'll learn to paste into another image. We may get to that today, we may not get to that today. I don't think we're going to. We may get to that next time. And then we'll learn how to use fake focus on an image to help it stand out, and we'll create some modified images. So today, at the end of this, you should be able to create some fake focused images. I'm going to go back on saying to learn to paste another image. We'll do that for another day. All right. So the first things first, of course, we have to go to Pixlr and load that up. You should know how to get there, www.pixlr.com, and you click the editor. The second thing we're going to need is we're going to need a picture. And I picked out this one, and I want to talk about a little bit about what fake filtering is. So this is just a normal picture of a guy and his buddies playing golf, nothing too special, anything like that. And then as an example, I want to show you this picture. So you notice how he stands out. You can't really tell what's going on in the background. It's just him. This one, not so much. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take this picture and copy it. And I'm going to open it inside of Pixlr. So let's open it from Pixlr. Paste the URL, and certainly it comes up. Okay, so one of the things we have available to us is a filter called blur. Specifically, there's the normal version, which doesn't really do too much, but it does make it look less clean. And then there's the box blur, and I like the box blur because it has this nice slider. You can tell it how much to filter. But that doesn't really let us make anything stand out. So that's not going to go so good. We have to use some selection tools. A couple of things we could do is we could crop these guys out if we felt like. We could just kind of take the crop, say, yeah, that's what we want. And of course, then we just have this guy. We only have to work with that for now. That's one option. And I think that's what we're going to stick with for today. I'm going to get a little better crop, however, try and see if I can get that other guy's tool out of the way. Well, that's about as good as we're going to get, I think. So let's start there, but I want to keep the ball in and have some room. So there we go. I'm going to make a selection, and when I do, and I hit the enter key, it will only take that selection. So now I have a picture. The guy's by himself, but he's got this ball, and he's got the traffic, the grass. So we now want to fade the background. Notice how you can see the leaves. You can kind of see what's going on. And if we go back to our other picture, you can't really see that stuff. So he doesn't stand out from his background. And so in order to do that, because there's stuff actually in front of him in the picture, as well as stuff behind him in the picture, we have to figure out a horizon line. And today our horizon line is going to be right here where the grass changes. So why is that important? Well, that means we need to blur everything behind it and keep clean everything in front of that line, because he's standing in front of that line. He should also not be blurred. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to take some selection tools. Now, if you notice over on the side, there are some selection tools. This one's called a marquee tool. It's a square or a circle marquee. And you notice if you do a square, it will make a square selection. Or if you do a circle, it will make a circle selection. But that's kind of hard for trying to cut this guy out, right? Because he's not square or circular. Another tool we could use is the magic wand, and this is a favorite among artists for a couple of good reasons. One, it's good for picking out colors. So when you hit select, it will try and pick out all the colors that are there. And there's a couple features here. There's the tolerance, which tells it how close to the color you click on does the other colors have to be. So if I click on green, does it have to be green? Yes. If I turn this down, it will take less when I try and select the green on his shirt. So you see how it doesn't select almost anything. So tolerance is very important when using the magic wand. It helps us do things like select just the grass or the outside. But this is still not quite what we want. So we have one other tool here called the magic lasso. And I'm going to deselect everything here. And the lasso tool comes in two types. It comes in the polygon or the freestyle lasso. We're going to use the polygon today just because that's what I'm going to use. I recommend when you guys do these on your own, you use the other lasso as well. You can get some a little bit clearer. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. So if you remember, we talked about our horizon line and we said that we have to get everything that is in front of this horizon line selected, and so as well as him. So I'm going to start with my lasso tool out here, and if I click and I click and I keep clicking, every time I click it'll let me set a point to capture. Okay, so I'm going to first start by just capturing everything by the horizon except right here, because this is going to go past our horizon line. I'm going to click right before I get to it, and then I'm kind of going to follow it up to his hand. And now I can just kind of make a bunch of small clicks to kind of travel around his body a little bit. And the closer I am to him, the better. It actually doesn't even matter if you get a pixel or two of him on the inside. It's better than leaving stuff on the outside. And you'll see why that is here in a minute. So once I have him, it's going to take a little bit, but I'm going to go through and quickly grab him. And then I'll leave some on the back side to show you kind of the difference between making sure it's really close to his head or his body and not doing it so well. And so it gets a little easier around here. Okay. All right. Now, you'll notice I selected this part of him. And so right now, if I apply the blur, it only blurs him out, which isn't what we want. We want the reverse of that. So we need to actually select the inverse. And the way we do that is going to Edit, so Invert Selection. And now it's selecting everything that we didn't click. And now if we try the filter, the box blur, you'll notice, wow, he stands out. He stands out pretty good. So, and you can change this. You can make it really blurry, or you can make it less blurry. It just depends on how crazy you want to get with it. That's the box blur. There's also another blur called the Gaussian blur. And of course, this is a nice one. I like this one. This is my personal favorite when it comes to blurs, but it will do the same kind of effect, and you can make him stand out from the background. So, and that's the two blurs. And then, of course, there's the regular blur, but not very strong. Today, I'm just going to use the box blur. Kind of does it. One of the things you'll notice is we didn't select this area in here. So when I deselect everything, it looks like a good picture, except for this area in here. You'll notice we have our horizon line, everything there looks clean, but this really messes up the standout. So one of the things we can go do is we can go back in here with our lasso tool and come back and grab all of that area so that it looks, oops. And when we're done, you can either connect where you started or you can double click and it will fix the selection with the lasso tool. So now we can add our extra filter, can add a box blur. This is what we did on the other ones, 10. And ta-da, he looks very much standoutish. Now you notice around here it doesn't look so hot, and that's because I didn't get so close to him. Around his hands, it doesn't look as good as the rest of the selection. And I want you to be more detailed than I was. I'm here just to show you guys kind of how it works. So, so that's your goal for today is find a picture Crop something out. Find something that is a picture that would have a horizon line to begin with, something where the object is set off of the images in the background, shall we say. Uh, Use the selection tools to highlight the individual or object and the horizon line, of course. And then use some filters to really bring this person to stand out. And although mine looks a little bit messy, you should try and get this kind of a setup, okay, where it looks really nice, really clean. So that's it for today. Going back over, let's remember our goals. You should learn the select and crop tools. You should learn about horizon lines. You should find your horizon line in your picture. We skipped this one for today, so we'll learn how to paste another day. And we're learning how to fake focus an image so that we can help it stand out. And all I mean by fake focus is that it wasn't focused this way when we started. So we're going to do this to make it stand out. And then lastly, your goal is to make one or two of these. And again, it should take you some time because you have to go in some really good detail so that you don't get the little areas like I have where they see some clean areas and it really looks kind of bad when you zoom it in to that kind of a level. So that's it. I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy the second one where we talked about the crop, select, and filter blur.